Hello, F1 fan. Welcome back to Fast News F1, your go-to channel for all things Formula 1. If you're passionate about racing, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into a tough weekend for Lewis Hamilton in Brazil. At a circuit where he's achieved multiple wins, this time was different. Hamilton finished in 10th place, far from the performance he and Mercedes were hoping for. As we break down his struggles with the Mercedes W5, we want to hear from you. What did you think about his performance in Brazil? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know if you think he'll bounce back in the next race. And remember, we're on a mission to reach 500 subscribers. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and enable the notification bell. Your support means a lot to us and helps us bring you the latest F1 news. As the weekend kicked off, it was clear that things weren't going smoothly for Hamilton. Right from Friday's first practice session, he struggled with intense bouncing on the track, even expressing discomfort to his team. At one point, he asked his race engineer, "How much longer have we got?" signaling just how challenging the drive was. For a driver who's mastered some of the toughest circuits in the world, this level of discomfort was unexpected and concerning. Then came Saturday, where Hamilton's struggles continued. During the sprint qualifying, he faced a lack of pace and finished in a disappointing 11th place, and as if that wasn't enough, he was eliminated early on Sunday's qualifying in 16th place. Frustrated, he described his car as the worst he'd ever driven. Despite all efforts, nothing seemed to be working, and you could hear the frustration in his voice. Now, we're curious to hear from you. Do you think Mercedes could have done anything differently to help Hamilton this weekend? Cast your vote in the comments. Yes, they could have prepared better, or no, it was just a tough weekend for everyone. We'd love to see where you stand, and if you're enjoying this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe to Fast News F1. Each subscription helps us reach our goal of 500 subscribers, and it means a lot as we bring you real-time updates from the F1 world. Race day arrived, but Hamilton's weekend didn't improve. Despite his efforts, he managed to finish only in 10th place, securing just a single point. Meanwhile, his teammate George Russell brought his car home in a solid 4th place, highlighting the disparity between the two cars' performances that weekend. After crossing the line, Hamilton's frustration was palpable as he radioed his team, saying, "That's the worst the car's ever been." Hamilton compared driving his W5 to sitting on a plank of wood. The lack of suspension and relentless bouncing made it nearly impossible for him to control the car, especially around Interlagos' notoriously bumpy circuit. As a 7-time world champion, it's rare to see Hamilton so visibly affected, yet he remained gracious even after such a difficult race. He took a moment to thank his team for their hard work, acknowledging that everyone both on track and back at the factory put in maximum effort. But let's hear from you. Do you think Hamilton's reaction to the car was justified, or should he have handled it differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and remember, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and enable the notification bell. By subscribing, you'll join our community of F1 enthusiasts, and you'll never miss an update as we get closer to our goal of 500 subscribers. Every click helps us grow and bring you the latest F1 insights. One of the most surprising aspects of the weekend was the contrast between Hamilton and his teammate, George Russell. While Hamilton struggled to break into the top 10, Russell managed a much stronger performance, finishing 4th. This significant difference raised questions about whether it was an issue with Hamilton's car setup, driving style, or even luck. It's rare to see such a gap between two drivers on the same team, especially when both are known for their skill and determination. Hamilton's disappointment was evident, and he acknowledged that while he gave his best, something in his car simply wasn't working. Meanwhile, Russell's performance suggests that, under different conditions, Mercedes may still have the potential to compete near the top. Now, we want to know your thoughts. Was this weekend's result due to technical issues on Hamilton's car, Or is Russell simply adapting better to the W5? Let us know in the comments by voting for technical issues or driver adaptation. And if you're following along, make sure to subscribe to Fast News F1 and turn on notifications. With your support, we're getting closer to our 500 subscriber goal, and your input helps us shape the F1 content you want. Hamilton's struggle was particularly intense due to the specific challenges posed by the Interlagos circuit. Known for its uneven surface and sharp corners, this track demands a balanced setup and strong suspension. However, Hamilton's W5 seemed to lack both. He described it as having no suspension, comparing the experience to driving a plank of wood that bounced uncontrollably over the tires. This harsh setup prevented him from accelerating out of corners effectively, impacting his lap times. The constant bouncing, known as porpoising, has been a recurring issue for Mercedes this season, but at Interlagos it reached a new level of difficulty. Hamilton's disappointment was evident as he voiced his frustration, hoping that the final races on smoother tracks would provide a break from these relentless bumps. So what do you think? Should Mercedes focus on making significant adjustments to their car setup for the remaining races, or stick with their current strategy? Tell us your opinion by voting in the comments, make adjustments or stay the course, and for more in-depth F1 insights. Remember to subscribe to Fast News F1. We're getting close to our target of 500 subscribers, and each new subscriber helps us bring you the stories that matter most in F1. Hamilton's challenges in Brazil also affected his standing in the championship. With a 10th place finish and only 1 point added, he slipped behind his teammate George Russell, who now leads him by 2 points. As of now, Hamilton sits in 7th place in the Drivers' Championship, a tough spot for a driver used to fighting for titles. This change in ranking has added more tension within Mercedes, as Russell has steadily gained momentum throughout the season. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes remains in 4th place, well behind Red Bull, but comfortably ahead of Aston Martin. While podium finishes and victories are out of reach this season, Mercedes is aiming to end the year on a strong note. Their sights are now set on preparing for a better performing car next season, with the team hoping to return to title contention. Do you think Hamilton can regain his spot ahead of Russell by the end of the season, or will Russell hold on to his lead? Drop a comment below and let us know who you think will finish higher in the standings, Hamilton or Russell. And remember, subscribing to Fast News F1 not only keeps you up to date, but also supports us as we work toward our 500 subscriber milestone. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Capítulo 7. Penalidade da Mercedes por Invercar de Pressão das News to 5-0. Palavras adding to an already difficult weekend, Mercedes was fined by the FIA following a technical breach with tire pressures on both Hamilton's and Russell's cars. Just before the start of the race, Mercedes was flagged for adjusting tire pressures while the wheels were already mounted on the cars, which goes against FIA regulations. This violation, while seemingly minor, resulted in a $10,000 fine, $5,000 for each car. The incident occurred during the chaotic start procedure after Aston Martin's Lance Stroll had an off on the formation lap, forcing a delay. With the short time frame, Mercedes conducted tire checks that unintentionally violated the FIA's strict guidelines. While such breaches could have led to a more severe penalty, like race disqualification, the FIA stewards opted for the fine, considering the unusual circumstances. We'd love to know your opinion. Was the penalty fair given the situation, or should the FIA have shown leniency? Cast your vote in the comments by selecting fair penalty or too harsh, and tell us why you feel that way. And for more updates on everything F1, make sure to subscribe. Each subscriber gets us closer to our 500 subscriber goal, and we're committed to keeping you informed with all the latest news in the F1 world. As we look ahead to the final races of the season, Hamilton's weekend in Brazil serves as a reminder of how unpredictable F1 can be, even for season champions. After a challenging stint at Interlagos, Hamilton openly shared his hope for a more manageable setup in the upcoming races. With only 3 races and a sprint left, every point counts, and Mercedes will be working tirelessly to give both Hamilton and Russell a car that can handle the demands of each circuit. This season has been a roller coaster, and with Hamilton falling behind Russell in the standings, he faces the unique challenge of finishing his campaign with Mercedes on a high note before making a fresh start. Reflecting on his past triumphs, Hamilton remains determined to push for the best results possible, even with the ongoing difficulties. Meanwhile, Russell, on the rise, will be eager to solidify his position and prove his consistency as Mercedes' future continues to take shape. As we wrap up today's breakdown, we'd love to hear your predictions for the end of the season. Who do you think will have the upper hand going into the final races, Hamilton or Russell? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know if you think Mercedes can make the adjustments needed to finish strong. And finally, if you haven't already, subscribe to Fast News F1. With each subscriber, we're one step closer to reaching our goal of 500 subscribers. We'll be here with all the latest insights and updates as the F1 season comes to an exciting close, so join us for the ride.